Who's your favorite skater? 日本の、Who's your Japanese skater? 誰が好きないますか？
Yeah, I have two favorite Japanese skaters. Two. First one, of course, is the king Yuzuru Hanyu.
Yuzuru Hanyu-san.
So good at skating. Just work ethic is pure. His technique is perfect, and it's an honor to have competed against him. I'm sure you could say the same.
Definitely.
And then also my second would be Daisuke Takahashi.
Yeah.
めちゃくちゃ人気なんですね。だから羽生結弦さんと高橋大輔さんは。
Those are my two favorites.
Okay.
Did you see lots of poo? They have poo?
So many.
たくさんのプーさんが見ましたが、その後ね、演技の後。
I was thankful that I didn't skate after him.
Did it rain poo?
It did every time. Every time.
今回もション語を教えていいですか？
お願いします。
乾杯は、
はい。
乾杯なパワー。Shall we say that?
What am I saying?
乾杯なパワー。乾杯なパワー。
はい。
Ready? せーの。乾杯なパワ
ー。美味しい。
So good.
Thank you. That's a great story. Yeah. So if you have a video, please.
Yes, I'll show you.
Yeah. Maybe I can put here.
Yes, I'll show you. Right here, maybe. Subscribe.
チャンネル登録。チャンネル登録お願いします。
登録。
皆さんこんにちは。コーチJunichiです。今日のゲストは初めての現役スケーター。カムデンプルキネンさんです。
こんにちは、こんにちは。私はカムデン君。
すごい。よろしくお願いします。
Good.
よろしくお願いします。
はい。So, カムデン君。ショーン君とカムデン君は友達で、今日この場の YouTube になったんですけども、何かこうストーリーがあれば。So, any story between you guys?
いや、いっぱいストーリーがあります。はい。最初、初めて会ったのストーリーいいですか？
お願いします。
Okay, so do you want to say how we first met?
Yeah, so Sean and I have known each other forever. I think he was probably my first friend in the sport in a way, but we actually grew up together, but in the way that he was coaching one of my competitors. So growing up, there was another skater that he coached, and I would always see him by the boards with one of my competitors, and that's how I first knew Sean. And he's always been so friendly and so kind, and I've been really fortunate to have him in my corner throughout my career thus far. And it's kind of interesting because then in his last few years in senior, I moved up to senior, and we started to compete against each other. And I think that was really cool to see someone that I looked up to, not as just a friend, but also someone that coached one of my competitors, and actually getting to finally compete against you on the national stage. So translating into our next story about,
so from there.
はい、お願いします。
はい。
その二人はすごい古い仲。
そうですね。初めて会った時、私は先生。はい。だから私の生徒とキャンデン君一緒に大会やった。はい。だから一緒にじゃないけど、私の生徒、それからキャンデン君してました。はい。でも
何年前？ How long ago?
I want to say 10 years ago.
10年前。
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 I'm old. その後、キャンデン君はシニアになって、私はまだシニアの大会やってます。だから一緒に全米で大会やってました。はい。
で、それからその2人の試合のストーリーとかありますか？ Any like story about the competition?
Yeah, so 2020 US Nationals in Greensboro.
2020年。はい。2020年。
2019.
Oh, you're right. 2019 US Nationals in Detroit, Michigan, United States. We both competed senior against each other, and we actually had the same free program, music, which was West Side Story.
2人のフリープログラムの曲が一緒の曲だったんですか？
そうですね。はい。West Side Story.
Sorry, and then...
Yeah, so the beginning of the season, when we both found out we were competing against each other with the same music, we told each other, we said, wouldn't this be really funny that we compete against each other at nationals and maybe do back to back? And we both laughed like, oh, that's funny, but it's not going to happen because the chances of that are very low. But come nationals, of course, we both, and the short program, I think we were maybe like 7th and 8th or 8th and 9th, and we skated back to back. And the story of West Side's story is the Sharks and the Jets, and the Sharks were red, the Jets were blue. And funny enough, I wore blue as I was a Shark, and he wore red as he was a Jet. So it's kind of like we were playing that story on the ice, but not just in one performance, but in 2 performances. Right. And I will say, Sean won the battle that day. Sean beat me. The Jets won that day. So it was a really funny story and one that I really hold close to my heart.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
まずその2019年のそのシーズンが始まった時に2人とも同じ曲ウエストサイドストーリーを選んで、でシーズンが始まる時にいやナショナルで同じ曲使って順番に滑ったらねまあ嫌だねというか、なんか面白いねみたいな話をしてたら、ナショナルで本当にもうどっちの方が先に滑ったんですか？
私は最初滑った。
そうショーンスケールってファースト。ショーン君が先で同じ曲。で、まあその映画のストーリーはまあその2つのチームが戦い合うみたいな感じで、でその1つのチームのカラーがショーン君。赤。赤。で、カムデン君が青。
そうだね。もうショットの後、みんなドローセレモニーあるでしょ。だから、キャムデンと私同じグループでしょ。だから、このグループで、一緒にバックトゥバックできますかなみんな考えたけど、本当にバックトゥバック、みんなびっくり。
終戦の時みんな、
そう。
うわーみたいな感じでね。
そうだね、みんなびっくり。そうみんな知ってました。だから、これは初めてこのバトルみたい。すごいいい思い出です。
Good story. Thank you for good story. そしたら、カムデン君は日本人のスケーターともすごく仲が良くて、それでいろいろ日本のスケーターのことについて聞いていきたいんですけれども、So, any story about Japanese skater? Or like what's your favorite city in Japan? 好きな街、好きな県はどこですか？
Yeah, my favorite city in Japan is Nagoya because 5 years ago I had my first experience in Japan in Nagoya for Grand Prix final where I was junior and I skated pretty well and I took silver, which thank you. That in itself made me love the city even more. But it was my first time experience the Japanese audience and the support I received, and it was the first time skating in a full stadium, and that was really crazy to me. And I think I loved the cleanliness of Nagoya, and I loved how it felt like there was always something to do, but also not overwhelming. That's what made me really fall in love with that city. But 2 years ago for NHK Trophy...
Can I just...
Oh, yes.
その一番好きな街は名古屋、でなんで好きかっていうと5年前のそのジュニアグランプリファイナルジュニアのグランプリファイナルでまず2番を取ってでお客さんの雰囲気とか街の雰囲気でお客さんの声援とかがすごく心に響きました、
そうですね。
それでその後 So after Junior Grand Prix Final what's next?
Yeah, I went to NHK Trophy last year, 2 years ago during the pandemic, and I loved Tokyo because it was in the middle of Tokyo. Although I didn't skate well, it was very bad. I fell in love with the city, and from the bubble that we were in, it was really sad because our hotel was far from the ice rink, so we would take the shuttle to the ice rink. But I remember in the bus, I would roll down the windows in the back and try to smell the Japanese air because I wanted so bad to be out in the city and get to explore. And I loved Tokyo a lot because it also felt like it was a city, but it gave tribute to nature as well. They allowed a lot of trees to be growing, a lot of vines to be growing on the side of buildings, where now I live in New York City and I feel like I wish there were more parks, I wish there was more greenery, and I wish it didn't feel so industrial, where Japan, Tokyo, a huge city, still has that essence of wilderness, the essence of forestry, of plants, which is really, I think, missing. Yeah.
そのジュニアグランプリファイナルの後に行った日本っていうのが2年前の NHK トロフィーで、その時はもうコロナの明けたばっかりの時で、まだそのホテルから会場までもうバブルって言ってその外に出れない状態、ホテルから試合会場だけだけど、カムデン君はもう東京の景色とかで窓を開けてその東京の空気、その日本のなんか空気をすごく感じて、でもその街並みとかがすごく綺麗で、で思い出がね。
日本の空気本当にいい匂いと思います。わかる？
Yes, yes, I know what you're saying.
なんか
Yes.
東京の匂い、何が違うわからないけど、本当にキャムも同じ言ってた。俺だけと思った。だからそれ言ってすごいびっくり。
日本の空気。
日本の空気の匂い、本当に違う。何が違うわかんないけど。
綺麗。
綺麗。
クリー
ン。very clean. Yeah. 大好き。大好きですか？大好き。
そう、カムデン君、ポカリセットがスポンサーなんですよね。そう、ポカリセット is your sponsor。Yes,
yes.
そのなんかそのお話もせっかくスポンサーっていうのを聞いたんで、でなんかねなんでそのポカリセットがスポンサーになったっていうお話も。Please tell us like how Pocari Sweat started your sponsor.
Yeah, at NHK Trophy 2 years ago in 2021. It was my first time drinking Pocari Sweat, but I fell in love with the drink. It tasted so good, and also it felt like it gave me the proper electrolytes and recovery and nutrition fueling I needed. Whereas I like that it's not a color that is maybe distasteful. It's not bright red, it's not bright blue, it's clear, and that makes me feel more attracted to the drink. And after NHK, I drank it a lot, and I started drinking and training and started posting a little bit about it. And Pocari Sweat's trying to move a lot of their business to North America now. So they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be an ambassador for them. And now it's I think the only sports drink that I will ever be consuming. So I love Pocari Sweat, yes.
翔くんよかったら今の訳していいですか？
そう、NHK で、キャメン君は初めてポカリスエット飲んで、その後すごく美味しいとヘルシーだから、これからこれ飲みたいっていう、だからその後少しだけ飲んでもう写真送ってインスタに紹介して、それからポカリスエットはキャメン君にお願いしました。アメリカでもっと紹介したいだから、アメリカン人のアンバサダー欲しいっていう、だからそれからキャメン君は初めて一緒に働いてます。
はい、大塚製薬さん、素晴らしいですね。
素晴らしい。
美味しい。美味しいよね。
美味しい。なんか味強くない。
甘くない。そんなに甘くないしね。
完璧。そうそうそう。もう色、キャメン君は色は水みたいだから、見るやすい、飲みやすい。何が入った例えば赤とか緑、なんで緑になって、それは考えてない。だから、飲みやすい。はい。
飲んでいい？
飲みましょう。
飲みましょう。飲んで。
Cheers。
ポカリセット、イェーイ。
イェーイ。
これ僕が買ってきました。このポカリセット。
ありがとうございます。乾杯。今回も称号を教えていいですか？
お願いします。
乾杯は、乾杯のパワー。Shall we say that?
What am I saying?
乾杯 in a power. 乾杯 in a power. Ready? せーの。乾杯 in a power.
美味しい。
So good.
辞書書きます。
ありがとう。
はい。
そしたら、引き続き、キャムデン君の、その、 who's your favorite skater? 日本の、who's your Japanese skater? 誰が好きないますか？
Yeah, I have two favorite Japanese skaters. Two. First one, of course, is the king Yuzuru Hanyu.
Yuzuru Hanyu-san.
So good at skating. Just work ethic is pure. His technique is perfect, and it's an honor to have competed against him. I'm sure you could say the same.
Definitely.
And then also my second would be Daisuke Takahashi.
Yeah! めちゃくちゃ人気なんですね。だから、羽生結弦さんと高橋大輔さんは。
Those are my two favorites.
Okay, so you copied me.
Oh, yes. そうだね。Why do you like them? Why do you like Daisuke?
なんか、その、試合でなんか一緒に、そう、first time competed, you know, 譲る羽生 and any, like, you know, story or
Yeah, I remember the...
初めて試合、羽生結弦さんと試合した時の話。
Yeah, I've competed against him a few times, and the first time I ever competed against him was 2019 Autumn Classic in Canada. And I remember feeling very nervous because he's someone I watched when I was 12 years old and 13 years old, and someone that I drew so much inspiration from, and I would watch him on TV and say, Mom, Dad, I want to skate like that one day. And it's interesting meeting one of your idols and someone that you kind of make your role model, because you don't know them at all as a person, but you only know them as a skater. But when I got to the competition, he made me feel very welcome. And it was my first senior event that season, and it was my first time moving to senior Grand Prix. So I was just nervous all around, but very nervous to meet him. And he made me feel very welcome. He made me feel like a friend. And not once did I feel like I wasn't welcome to skate on the same ice with him. And there's a respect that he gives you when you skate with him, even just simple small claps when you land a jump, or like small talk in the locker room. And that whole season, we competed against each other 3 times, and every time he always told me he was a friend and just give me a hug when he sees me, or gives me a high five while we're walking by each other. And it really makes the person that I idolize, it makes me love his skating and really appreciate who he is even more. It adds a human quality to the person where we only know their skating.
ショーン君、役割が
いいですか。キャンドンは初めて羽生君と一緒に大会出ては、what year did you say?
2019.
2019年のオートムクラシック。そこで、キャンドンは初めて深夜の大会と初めて羽生くんと一緒に大会やって、もう羽生くんすっごいなんていう welcoming 優しい、もうキャンドンは同じレベルだから一緒にアイスで滑って応援して、もうロッカールームでもうちょっと話して、もうすごく初めてからすごく友達っぽいになって、だから温かいの雰囲気がある。それからすごい尊敬になりました。前は尊敬、でもこういう感じ。
特にカムデン君が子供の頃、テレビで見てた羽生さんだから、試合見た時にすごい本当に、ね、羽生さんだっていう気持ちが、
本当の人ですね。だから次のレベル尊敬になりました。アイドルだけじゃないけど、すごいいい人、もう心優しい。はい。それから3回目一緒に、そのシーズンは3回目一緒に大会出て、もう毎回ハグして、もう、ヘイ元気、そういう感じ。
すごく優しい。
優しい。はい。そう。いいですね。That's so nice.
Yeah, and I think also it was my first time watching him skate live, because obviously he was skating later than me because he's better than me. So he would be skating like last in the group and I'd be first, and I would always make sure that I would watch him skate. And there's a different energy when you see him live and in person, and the television doesn't do it justice. It doesn't really show his amazing qualities in skating, and getting the opportunity to watch him in person live, and not just watch him, but watch the emotion that he gives the audience. That's a very special thing to be able to see. And, you know, he's sometimes referred to as a skating god, and I think that season I finally understood why is the emotion that he can make people feel from skating, and also just such a nice and good-hearted person.
Yeah, definitely.
翔くんお願いします。
なんか一緒に滑って、本当のなんていう羽生の雰囲気、スケートの雰囲気、例えば皆さんに客さんに心上げると、エッジワークとかそういう感じ、生で見るすっごい違う、テレビは 100% それは分かんないけど、生で一緒に滑ってすっごいそういう感じ、皆さんに心上げて、もうjust his overall presence、それは日本語で分かんないけど、本当にスケーティング神さんみたい、本当に世界のベスト、
やっぱりその実際にライブで見たときに、そのカムデン君はなんでみんながこんなすごいっていうのがやっぱり本当に分かったっていうことですよね。
そうですね。もうcan I ask you, when you skated with him or when you competed against him at that first competition, do you feel like when he's skating, like it's so dead silent, like everyone is just so focused because it's like it's art, right? And so it's just like everyone is like zeroed in, and like you can hear like your own heartbeat, like
yeah, I agree with that. I think also the audience reacts in a certain way to him that they don't react to anybody else.
Totally.
So I think that also amplifies just the fact that you can hear a pin drop. It's so silent. And just because everybody's watching him, everyone's so focused on the king, and
definitely
there's a reason why.
Yeah. そう羽生くん滑るとき、すっごい静かな、
始まる前、
そう何でも聞こえない、just
みんな芸術を見るように、
そうだから自分の心臓のトントントントン、すごい大きい音みたい、それは初めて、私も羽生くんと一緒に大会だった時、初めてそういう何でも聞こえない。
Did you see lots of poo? Bear poo?
たくさん
のプーさんは見ましたか？その後ね、演技の後。
I was thankful that I didn't skate after him.
Did it rain poo?
It did, every time.
Yeah.
そうだね。ありがとうございます。素晴らしいストーリーありがとうございます。その他に木平理香さん、木平理香選手とも一緒に練習してて、so did you practice with 理香木平？ like any story?
Yeah.
ストーリーはありますか？
Yeah. So Rika and I have been friends for a long time. It's an interesting friendship because she doesn't speak much English, and I clearly do not speak much Japanese.
You speak a little.
A little, very. But it's a friendship that we don't really need to talk. We can just support each other, and it's really interesting to see that you can see a familiar face many, many times, and that just grows the friendship. And I think it's a nod to how figure skating is such a small world and such a small community that most people are friendly and welcoming and will be your friend if you want to be theirs. And you just have to put a little bit of effort in to wave or smile or just give someone a hug. And I remember back in Colorado Springs where I first met her, we had the same choreographer, Tom Dixon. And one day we were skating together, and I think I may have been in a lesson or she was in a lesson with Tom. And he said, okay, let's do triple axels. So we're like, huh? So then her and I, we did side-by-side triple axels.
Wow.
And maybe one day it'll be a pair team. Who knows? No. I'm kidding. But I remember that was a very special moment to be able to do triple axels with Rika. And
that's cool.
I'll have to show you guys a video, but it was so unison, so...
Oh, you have a video?
Yes, there's a video. It's so perfect, landing same time, like air position the same. So it was fun, and yeah, I think that was something that is very special to me, and I think it's special to her. So now that we compete against each other, or compete at the same events like Skate Canada and Grand Prix Finland, it's nice to see her and her mom and just be friendly with them, because there's that friendship that is just there because we've known each other for so long. Yeah.
Definitely.
翔くんお願いします。
そう、初めて会った時は、コロラドスプリングスで、リカちゃんはコロラドに来て、トーム・ディクソンの振り付けを学びました。キャメン君もトーム・ディクソンの振り付けもありました。だから、トレーニング中、トム先生は、一緒にトリプルアクセル飛べてくださいって言った。だから、サイドバイサイド、ペアスケートみたい。トリプルアクセル飛べて、もうタイミング完璧、一緒に。だから、これから一緒にペアに滑りますよ。
っていうのは冗談で。
冗談。そう。でもそれから、すごいいい友達になって、もう、リカちゃんの英語あんまり強くないも、キャンデン君は日本語強くない。だから、一緒の言語ありませんけど、まだすごくいい友達になりました。だから、グランプリでいつも会ってすごい喜んで、もう多分 you can use Google Translate to communicate, right? So Google Translate で
That's exactly it.
communication できる。だからそれからみんな友達になるでしょ。スケート世界はすごい狭い。だからいつも同じ人会って、もう毎年会うから皆さんもっと近いになって、もうすごくいい世界と思う。はい。だからそれからいい友達になりました。はい。
Thank you. That's a great story. Yeah. So if you have a video, please.
I'll show you.
Yeah. Maybe I can put here.
Yes. I'll show you. Right here, maybe.
Yeah. So thank you. For all the story. And then so you are going to college, New York. And I'm sure it's hard, balance, because your school is Ivy League, and then also practice. So if you can talk about your lifestyle now, how hard training, how hard school. カムデン君は今ニューヨークで大学に行きながら、でその大学っていうのもすごい難しい大学で、でトレーニングもやりながら生活してるので、それはSo please.
Yes. Training is very difficult. I think since I've trained in Colorado Springs and trained in Irvine here, it's been very great training. We have a great facility here in Irvine, and we have a lot of ice. And going to New York City, where we only have ice until 11:20 in the morning, and having to start my mornings at 7 o'clock, it's quite difficult to, go from 7 to 11 in the morning, and then having to go right into classroom and not be done with school until about 4:30 or 5 p.m. So really it's a mental challenge more than anything of trying to give my mind everything on the ice and really commit to running programs and doing sections and jump elements, and then going to the classroom and having to learn about calculus or learn about how to do a balance sheet in finance. So that's the hardest part, I think. But also just the culture here in America is not to go to school. Usually we give up school and go to skating and just give everything to the sport, where I would love for it to be more normal here for athletes to not have to sacrifice education. And I would love for people to see what I'm doing, what Karen is doing, Vincent, Nathan, because we all are going to school and we all try to, compete at the same time. And I would love for that to be more normal here in the United States.
Definitely.
ショーン君お願いします。
そう、キャメン君は前はコロラドシンズでトレーニングしてる、もう去年の夏3ヶ月くらいアーバインで、一緒にトレーニングして同じリンク、それからニューヨークの大学に行きました。だからそれから今は毎日朝の7時半から11時20分までトレーニングして、もうすごい短いの、時間だからその後大学行って、もう 毎日ちょっと長い。もう、でも、すごい頑張ってる。もう、それから、アメリカはみんな、先週の終わりまで、あんまり大学入ってない。例えば、
先週の終わり。
そう。
引退するまでっていうこと
ですね。そう、引退するとき、だからもし26歳で引退して、みんなその後大学に行きますけど、キャンデン君は一緒に入っても、ケレンチェンちゃんも、ネイサンちゃんも、ビンさんともいっぱい最近、両方頑張りたいだから、もっともっとそういう文化になりたいって言った。はい。
ありがとうございます。
Do you feel like because you're doing both, you actually manage your time better on the ice?
Yes, that's the biggest thing that I've had to learn in this last year is efficiency. Learning to get as much training as I get done here in smaller time in New York City. So maybe that is learning how to feel more and learning how to drink more Pocari Sweat or drink more water so I'm hydrated. But learning how to be efficient on the ice and get more into a training session is something I've had to learn because even though I skate from 7 to 11, I sometimes can't do my work on the first session because maybe my body's not ready or maybe I need to do my edges more or I need to focus on spins on the first session. So then I may only have 2 hours or 1 hour to get 2 programs in and get jump repetitions in and not just do it, but do it to high quality. So learning how to be efficient with my training and have that mental approach that quality over quantity. So doing 1 good long program is better than doing 5 bad programs. So really making sure my mind is sharp enough and my mind is ready to be efficient and really put quality work out is something I've had to work hard at.
Very interesting.
お願いします。
なんか普通のトレーニングは朝から午後まで何時でもトレーニングできるでしょ、でもこの狭いの時間ある、
だからあまり時間がない中で
そう、練習でもっとフォーカスと、もちろんいつも頑張るけど、頑張るのwhat's the word? reason? 理由頑張るの理由、ちょっと違うになりました、だからはい、今回はもっとウォームアップ必要だからもっとハイレペティションジャンプできる、でも2時間ありません、1時間あるだからこの1時間すごい頑張って必要みたい、はい、わかりますか？
大丈夫。だから質を上げて、
はい、
もっともっと効率的に練習できるようにしてるっていうことですよね。
はい、そうですね。
わかりました。So last thing. So this channel for next generation, skaters, and then more like message like skating is really fun, fun to watch, fun to skate. このチャンネルの目的はそのスケートの面白さを伝えたい、皆さんに伝えたいっていうのと、もうスケートをやっている、子供たち、スケーターにはやっぱりそのスケートのなんかこう楽しさ、を伝えたいっていうのがこのチャンネルの目的です。で、最後にカムデン君に質問。So, any message for like young athlete, like skaters? So, like how did you success? How did you, like training or like what's your favorite thing about skating, to people?
So 2 things. I will first give a message and second off, I'll first give my favorite thing about skating and second I'll give a message.
一番最初はそのスケートの好きな、どんなことが好きなのか。で、次はそのスケートをやっているスケーターたちのメッセージお願いします。Please.
Yes. So first thing I love about skating is there's so many things that make up a program. It's not just a jump, not just a spin, not just a step. There's jump, spin, step, crossovers, choreography, transitions. There's how you enter the ice, how you exit the ice.
Totally.
There's how you smile. There's so many things that go into a performance that I will relate it to food. Let's say you have a hamburger and you just have meat, the cheese, and the bun. That's not very tasty. It's plain. But skating is like meat, cheese, bun, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, maybe ketchup, maybe maybe salt and pepper, and then maybe it's on a brioche bun. So skating is a lot more but skating is a lot more like a delicacy with all these different flavors. It's not so plain where I think other sports just have one thing that you do. You have so many things that make your hamburger and make your food tasty. And that's what I love about skating.
You have very tasty skating.
Thank you, Sean. You guys are tasty.
お願いします、ショーン君。
スケートはなんか一個ものない、いっぱいあるでしょ。例えば振り付け、ジャンプ、スピン、ステップ、アイスに入るとき、アイスから帰るとき、もういっぱいいろんなことがある。だからスケート面白い、興味がある。例えばハンバーガーって言った、ハンバーガーは肉とパンとチーズだけ。あんまり美味しくないでしょ。ちょっと普通、でも美味しいハンバーガーは肉ある、レタスある、トマトある、ケチャップある、ベーコンある、卵ある。美味しそう。だからそれは美味しいでしょ。それは珍しい。もうこのハンバーガー食べたいっていうでしょ、だからスケートとハンバーガーすごい似てる。そういう感じはスケート大好き、みんな違うけどみんな違うだから違うだからじゃないみんなはいろんなことがある、だからこのプログラムは珍しいになって、もうだからみんな違う、それはすごい興味がある、はい、
ありがとうございます。 Thank you. And then so message for skaters.
Yes, message for skaters. I think if I think about my own career, I regret not trying things earlier, and I wish at a younger age I would have tried to go for more quads or just tried to do different spin positions. So a message to all skaters I'd say is just go for it. Just try things. Even if you don't feel the most confident in it, try it with your coach. Try it on the pole harness, but I will say just keep going for it. Keep trying things. No matter how old, no matter how young you are, keep trying to improve, keep trying to get new elements, because that's how you're going to improve, is by attempting things. And on the first try, as coaches, you guys don't expect the first try to be perfect, do you?
Not at all.
No, all you want to see is effort.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing, is your coaches just want to see effort, so just try it. And your coaches are there to support you, and they want to see you get better. So that's my message to all skaters.
Nice. So 皆さんはスケートを練習するとき、初めてエレメントをやってもう少し早いやってもいいと思うって言った。怖くない、もうすごい頑張って、もう最初ジャンプ飛べてとかスピンのポジション初めてやって、もちろん完璧じゃないだからそれは全然大丈夫っていう。コーチさんも完璧欲しくない、頑張る欲しい。だからもし頑張ってもう何でもできるって言った、だから皆さんぜひ新しいエレメント怖くない、頑張ってくださいって言った。はい、
ありがとうございます。And then, good luck national. Thank you.
頑張って
全米選手権頑張ってください。
Thank you.
And カムデン君、今日ありがとうございました。Thank you for today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a really good story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good.
Okay.
Great guy.
Subscribe.
チャンネル登録。チャンネル登録お願いします。
登録。
ありがとうございます。今回英語と日本語で話しながらだったんですけれども、最後までご視聴ありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画で会いましょう。
はい。
はい。
さよなら。
またね。
ありがとう。